Okay, so first of all, class, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the house on Mango Street today, and we're going to do a think, pair, share. So since we only got 3 people in class today, I just want all of you guys to get into a group and discuss what the definition of culture is. And I know that we've kind of done this a little bit before in our word associations. So go a little bit over that, and then we're going to read a little bit from the book and talk about what culture means within the book.
Okay.
So
So
I'll give you guys about a minute and think about what culture means.
okay. What does culture mean, guys?
I think culture is race, religion, and the way you dress.
I think it has something to do with food as well.
And food, yeah. And just like the background that you grow up with, part of your identity. Do you have any ideas, Rachel?
I agree. I think that is what culture is. I think it's very unique to your ethnic background, like I mentioned.
So, like, what would your ethnic background be?
Being half Polish and yeah, you're
I'm
Polish.
Hungarian.
Oh, that's so cool.
I had
Okay.
chicken paprikash this weekend, and that was part of my culture, like food, like you said.
Exactly. So that's probably of your culture. Yeah. I'm other things too. My dad's a mutt. But yeah.
Do you think it has anything
Music.
to do with, like, different parts of the world? Do you think certain cultures in certain parts of the world share certain characteristics?
Okay, well, let's get back together, guys.
Yeah.
And
Good question.
what were some of the things you came up with?
Religion.
Religion, yeah, definitely.
Food.
Food, yes.
Language.
Language, okay. Well, those all make sense, and those are all definitely pieces of culture. So why don't we open to page 28?
Oh,
It's called, the chapter should be called Those Who Don't.
look at that. Those are
And can I get it? It's a really short chapter, and you should have done it for your reading probably last night. But can we get some you guys to volunteer to read it for us today?
Sure.
Okay, Dan, why don't you just read the first paragraph?
Alright. Those who don't know any better come into our neighborhood scared. They think we're dangerous. They think we will attack them with shiny knives. They are stupid people who are lost and got here by mistake.
But we aren't afraid. We know the guy with the crooked eye is Davy, the baby's brother. And the tall one, next to him, in the straw brim, that Rosa's Eddie the Fifth. And the big one that looks like a dumb grown man, he's Fat Boy. Though he's not fat anymore, nor a boy.
All brown all around, we are safe. But watch us drive into a neighborhood of another color, and our knees go shakety-shake, and our car windows get rolled up tight, and our eyes look straight. Yeah, that is how it goes and goes.
Okay. So, what do you guys think Esperanza's culture is like here, and how do you think other people's cultures are reacting to hers when they come into her neighborhood?
Well, they think stereotypes of her. They
Okay. Like, can you show any examples of that? Like,
from the text.
Yeah.
Well, they say, they think we will attack them with shiny knives when that's clearly a false stereotype
yeah, definitely.
What's
Or
it
like,
a stereotype of?
of violence within the Latino community.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Why do you think they think that? Like, what do you think drives this?
Media stipulations of violence.
Okay. That's a pretty. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? What do you mean by that?
Well, it's like if it, what's the term? It's something like if it bleeds or is violent, it sells, violence sells.
Sex and violence.
Yeah, sex and violence, it sells.
So you think that like the media has a lot of part in creating this kind of racism, or?
I don't know.
I think
but
maybe.
it's
Like,
possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that?
I don't know. Just music, I guess.
That's true. Like rap songs specifically, like
Yeah.
if they're derogatory.
Like, there's more and more, like, Latinos get involved with, like, that music scene.
Okay. Yeah, Amanda.
And I think it's a lot to do with fear of other people, even in the media. Like, you don't really see, like, in sitcoms or whatever, usually, like, the families are, like, all African-American or all white, and you don't see a lot of mixture, and if you do, the characters tend to be stereotyped, and you can even see that in this passage, like, it says all brown all around, and I would assume that might be referring to the color of the skin of the people in the community, and then she's even saying that, like, the people who come into our neighborhood of other colors, like, they are stupid people who are lost and got here by mistake. So not only do people have stereotypes on her, but the people in her community also has stereotypes and fears of the other people who are not in the neighborhood.
Okay, definitely. And that's actually kind of brings us to our next point. Like this whole novel takes place in America, and this is all happening in America, and we're in America. So is there, like, if cultures are clashing like this within our own country, is there such a thing as an American culture, do you guys think?
I don't think there's like a distinctive singular American culture. I think there is a African American culture. I think there's a Mexican American culture. I think there's a et cetera, Polish American culture. I don't think there's one specific set of ideals across the board.
Okay.
I think there's like a stereotypical, like American stereotype, like a pickup truck,
Like
hot dogs, hamburgers,
Apple pie.
apple pie, yeah, that kind of thing. But I think in reality, I don't think that really exists.
Okay, well, like Rachel, are you suggesting that sort of like all the cultures exist separated from each other?
I don't know if it's like specifically that way. I would say I think they exist, whether or not they exist separate from each other. For myself, I can say, okay, I have, a Polish American culture that's, my background, but I also have, like, I'm mixed. I'm not just Polish American. I'm also, Irish American and I think German American, whatever else, my heritage is. And those different aspects kind of form who I am and things I do with my family, or just even traditions we have created that are purely our own little family.
How about you, Amanda? What do you think about this?
I think that it depends on where you're from, because I grew up in Ohio, and there were basically only white people there. And so, in a sense, that's the American culture, unfortunately, with, I feel like white privilege and things like that, that if there is an American culture, it's centered around white people. And, when you talk about other cultures, we're always comparing it to how white people live and act. So, in school, if another student doesn't have, proper grammar or whatever, then it's seen as they have to fix it to be standard. And what does standard mean? Standard is a white person, a white male.
Okay.
I think that's a good point.
So, you don't think there's, a standard American culture, then?
I think, no.
I guess not.
I think
Okay.
maybe there was once upon a time, the American dream and stuff, but it was kind of idealistic, and people are sort of hanging on to their own cultures more, and it's more valuable to them.
I think that still exists, though.
Or maybe that is what American culture is.
Oh, that's
American culture
depressing.
is diverse.
Okay, there's an interesting idea.
Like-
Elaborate a little on that.
Wait.
Well, the idea of American culture isn't, I don't know, waffles for Belgium. It's there's American culture is, how do I say it? It is a mix of culture.
Maybe
And that is
American
American
culture
culture.
is more based on ideas rather than physical things. Like he was saying, food. It's not food that brings us together in one culture. It's the ideas that we had.
Well, that's really interesting, actually, because it's trying to figure out what an American culture is. I have to go back and be okay, well, what does it mean to be English? What does it mean to have an English culture? Is there such a thing? And because I don't know if we really think about that ever, because clearly we're in America, American culture, et cetera, when we might have been born here, but if you go far enough back, the majority of people here now, clearly we're not.
Okay. So we have this idea of a whole bunch of different cultures all living together, and sorry. We have this idea of a whole bunch of different cultures living together, and it seems like there's racism going even between the cultures themselves to others, and then inside. Esperanza points that out when she says, we're all brown all around, but when we go somewhere else, we're all scared and going shakety shake.
Yeah.
So actually, that's kind of what our next homework assignment is going to be. What I want you guys to start working on, now in class, and then we're going to go over it and talk about it. And if you don't finish, that's okay. We're going to you can be homework. But what I want you to do is to write a chapter of another chapter to this book to follow this chapter.
Okay.
And I want it to be about Esperanza going into accidentally wandering into a different kind of neighborhood. So, have any questions on that?
What do you time?